The Parent Trap. Gone wrong. My name's Ethan, 16M, and my sister Lily, 14F, and I have spent the last 5 years going back and forth between our divorced parents. Our mom, Sarah, 42F, and dad, Tom, 44M, were married for 15 years before they called it quits. We were too young to understand why at the time, but all we knew was Dad got the new fancy condo downtown. Mom kept the house in full custody. They couldn't be in the same room without fighting. But over the years, things seemed to soften. They were civil at events, even cordial sometimes. That's when Lily and I got a stupid, brilliant idea. What if we could get them back together? We figured that the only reason they weren't reconnecting was that they weren't spending enough time together. So we planned a classic Parent Trap move, get them in the same place, let them bond, and boom, they'd realize they still loved each other. Biggest mistake of our lives. 2. The setup, a weekend of chaos. We convinced them both to take us on a weekend trip to the mountains, but we accidentally booked only one cabin. Mom, wait, your dad is coming? Dad, why the hell is your mother here? We played dumb. Oops. The website must have double booked. Guess we'll have to make the best of it. They both sighed and reluctantly agreed. Victory. The first night was awkward but manageable. We all sat around the fire, played board games, and for a moment, it felt like old times. We thought the plan was working. Then came day 2. 3. The fights start, and we learn the truth. By the second day, the cracks started to show. It began small. Mom criticized Dad for his bachelor lifestyle and called him immature. Dad mocked Mom for being a control freak. The tension grew thick enough to cut with a knife. But then, the Real bomb dropped. We were all sitting outside roasting marshmallows when Dad suddenly turned to Mom and said, "You know, it's funny. I don't even know why you're still mad after all these years." Mom laughed bitterly. "Oh, I don't know, Tom. Maybe because you cheated on me?" "What?" Lily and I looked at each other like we'd just been slapped. Cheated? No one had ever told us that. Me, wait, is that true? Dad, oh, come on, Sarah. That was years ago. Mom, yes, Ethan. Your dad had an affair. That's why we divorced. Dad stood up, furious. You're still playing the victim card? You were emotionally checked out for years before that. That's when it got ugly. Mom accused him of always putting work before family. Dad accused Mom of being controlling and cold. Yelling. Tears. Our childhood memories being torn apart. Lily ran inside crying, and I just sat there, feeling like my entire life had been a lie. 4. The aftermath, our family is more broken than before. The rest of the trip was a disaster. Mom and Dad barely spoke. Lily refused to come out of her room. I felt like an idiot for thinking we could fix things. The car ride home? Silent. By the time we got back, Mom was barely holding it together, and Dad left without a word. And now? Lily doesn't even want to see Dad anymore. Mom's been extra distant and quiet. Dad texted me, saying he didn't mean for us to find out like that. So, yeah. Our genius Parent Trap plan? Total failure. We thought we were bringing them back together. Instead, we just ripped open wounds that never really healed. Honestly, I don't know how to fix this. Update, The Parent Trap. Gone wrong. 1. The fallout, Mom versus Dad. After we got back from the trip, things were tense. Lily completely shut down. She wouldn't even talk to Dad, ignored his calls, and started spending most of her time in her room. Mom seemed off. She was quieter than usual, and I caught her crying a couple of times when she thought we weren't looking. Dad kept texting me, trying to explain. At first, I ignored him. I was still processing the whole cheating thing. But eventually, curiosity got the best of me, and I agreed to meet up with him, alone. We went out for lunch, and I asked him straight up. Did you actually cheat on Mom? And that's when he dropped another bombshell. 2. The real story, or at least, Dad's version. According to Dad, things weren't so black and white. He claimed that Mom had been emotionally distant for years before he had the affair. He admitted he messed up big time but said he felt neglected and unloved in the marriage. He said that by the time he cheated, they were already broken, he just made it official. I didn't know what to believe. Because the mom I know is kind, loving, and always there for us. But what if she really was cold and controlling in their marriage? And then Dad said something that changed everything. You know, your mom wasn't perfect either. She didn't just let me go after the divorce. She made sure I suffered for it. Apparently, after they split, Mom fought tooth and nail to keep full custody and made it as hard as possible for Dad to be in our lives. She controlled when and how we saw him. She cut him out of every decision. She painted him as the bad guy without ever telling us why. Now, I don't know if that's 100% true, but if it is, Mom isn't as innocent as we thought. 3. Confronting Mom, and the truth comes out. After my talk with Dad, I went home and asked Mom her side of the story. She sighed and finally admitted it. Yes, I fought to keep custody of you. And yes, I did everything I could to make sure your father paid for what he did. I asked her why she never told us about the cheating. Because you were kids. And I didn't want you to think less of him. But I also wasn't going to make it easy for him after what he did to our family. So there it was. Mom wasn't just a victim, she was also out for revenge. She didn't lie to us, but she also didn't tell the full truth. 4. The family meeting, that ended in disaster. I thought maybe, just maybe, we could get Mom and Dad to sit down and talk things out like adults. Big mistake. We had them meet at a coffee shop, just the 4 of us. Lily barely looked up from her phone the entire time. I tried to break the ice. Look, I think we all need to be honest with each other. We know about the cheating. We know about the custody battle. But we're still a family, and we need to move forward. Mom scoffed. Dad rolled his eyes. And then? Mom accused Dad of manipulating us. Dad called Mom bitter and controlling. Lily started crying and walked out. I just sat there, watching my parents fall apart all over again. Nothing got resolved. Nothing. They left more bitter than before, and Lily told me she never wants to see Dad again. 5. Where we stand now. So, yeah. The parent trap backfired harder than I ever imagined. Lily refuses to have anything to do with Dad. Mom is still angry and feels justified. Dad is hurt and says he just wants a real relationship with us. I'm stuck in the middle, not knowing who to believe. Honestly, I regret everything. If we'd just left things alone, maybe our family wouldn't be even more broken than before. So, Reddit, was this a mistake from the start? Or was the truth always going to come out anyway?